Super. So again, just feel really grateful to be here, grateful to see your faces for those of you that are here live. And if you catch this by recording, welcome to your practice. I am calling today's class Resilient Body, Resilient Mind. And the class itself, the physical practice, is a rather playful and kind of series of different movements really focused on mind, body, brain integration. And I think we'll have some fun with this practice. It's actually kind of meant to take you a little bit out of balance at some points and to kind of play with balance and to not be too serious about the practice, right? Which I think can often help. The intention here is really to kind of help through these playful integrative movements enhance a sense of presence so that there will be kind of periods of mindful pause where I really hope that you can just sense and feel the impact of these kind of brain integration, body integration movements and practices. And that as we kind of engage in a practice, or if this is a regular practice for you, sometimes what we're kind of looking for is some kind of signal of, improvement or progress. And actually, I just want you to kind of look for signs of presence. We're not really trying to achieve anything. This isn't a goal-oriented practice. It's really just a presence building practice. So to continue just to explore, how do you feel? How does your body want to move? How do you want to breathe? I will be offering some guided specific breath practices. Take them, leave them. Really, it doesn't matter, right? Like, listen to how you want to adapt this and make it yours. And I will encourage you, when we go towards resilient mind, to really pay attention to the narrative that accompanies your practice. It will kind of, in the microcosm of practice, when we can hear our mind, I can't do that. I can't handle this. It's too much for me. There's something wrong with me. I'm damaged. I'll never get this right. Like those kinds of dialogues that might accompany practice. When we observe it here in the microcosm of a practice, it might give insight to the background kind of mantras that we're running as we walk through our lives. And we can clean that up a bit. Once we're aware of what we might be saying to ourselves, we can create a more kind of conscious mantra. And even if all we come back to are things like, I can try that, or I'm open, or I'm here now, or I am, right? So to just refine that process. I'll share a few reflections and quotes, and then we'll get onto our mats and we'll go into practice together. The first is a quote from the Post-Traumatic Growth Guidebook. And this is at the point in the book, this is my book, this is a point in the book in which we're really kind of honing in on how are we defining our own hero or heroine's journey. And what I write here is, by consciously attending to the voice or narrator of your personal story, you can discover whether your story is one of hope and optimism, or if it's a pessimistic story full of disappointment and resignation. You get to write the script. You are allowed to revise your story until you arrive at a satisfactory conclusion, one that supports growth after trauma. This doesn't mean that you can change what happened in the past. However, you can work through the pain until you find greater resolution in the here and now. And it's that process of coming back to here and now again and again that I really feel where that choice resides of what it is that I'm saying or how I'm defining this experience. Last night I was walking in the evening, my regular sunset walk, and someone had made these kind of labyrinth circles in the snow with their snowshoes. And they were so beautiful. I took a picture and I posted it yesterday. You can find it on Facebook. But what I reflected afterwards is walking this path of life, more circular than linear, as we progress and regress, find newness and revisit familiar places. And even in the days when I feel like I'm going nowhere, just spinning my wheels, there's an opportunity for stillness. Here I can let go of the goals and longed for ideal of progress. Instead, I can simply enjoy the beauty of the moment. And in just being, I may have arrived at my destination. So I'll have one last reading here. This one is not my own. This is John Wellwood and his words entitled Forget About Enlightenment. Sit down wherever you are and listen to the wind singing in your veins. Feel the love, the longing, the fear in your bones. Open your heart to who you are right now, not who you would like to be, not the saint you're striving to become, but the being right here before you, inside you, around you. All of you is holy. You are already more and less than whatever you can know. You are already more and less than whatever you can know. Breathe out, touch in, let go. Thank you. So we're going to start with a breath practice, which I'll start right here, nice and close up before I move to my mat. And we'll start with an alternate nostril pranayama or nadi shodhana. And for this breath practice, really just, again, this opportunity to explore and sense and feel and get to know what's present for you here and now. So we'll start with a mudra in the right hand, and you can play around with this. Typically, the first two fingers fold in, and we use the ring and pinky finger to close off left nostril and thumb with the right nostril. And you might just curl in the first finger if that's more comfortable. So just allowing yourself to, again, adapt, make this yours. And before we go into the practice, just take a general scan. What is it that you're bringing in with you to this practice? What inspired you to come today? What is it that you are hoping to take away from this time that we have together? And perhaps honing in on some word or short phrase that can represent your intention for being here. That slight refinement of the voice of your own narrator. And we'll add in pranayama practice to that, just allowing now the word, the phrase, just to rest aside. And we'll take the thumb to the right nostril and begin by inhaling through the left. Using the fingers closing off the left and exhaling through the right. Inhaling right. And exhaling left. Inhaling left. And if my length of breath cycle is too long or short, adapt and make it yours. Exhale right. Inhaling right. And exhale left. And I'll invite you to find your own rhythm with this breathing for a few more cycles. And the next time you have exhaled through your left side, left nostril, allowing yourself to release the right hand and just observe. And then from here, slowly wiggling your fingers, maybe opening your eyes if they were closed. And I'm going to shift back onto my mat. And I think I'm going to close this so it doesn't catch there. Okay. So actually, I want to stay close up for just one more little practice here. I forgot what came next, but let's do this one close up. So our next practice, some of you may have done this with me before, but this is a practice that involves some eye movements, and it's called the basic position. For those of you that are familiar, I might have it here with this book, The Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve. It's Stanley Rosenberg's basic exercise. And we'll do this one seated. And you can also do this laying on your back if you prefer, with your head resting in your hands. So just again, a nice little brain and body integration practice here. And the positioning of the hands, you can interlace them or just keep them loose, supporting the back of your head. Back of your head is kind of both slightly lifted by your hands and also slightly pressing into the back of your hands so that you have a nice length and spaciousness around your upper cervical vertebrae. And then from here, an invitation to take your eyes all the way to the right as if gazing at your right elbow. And again, there's no force here, right? So we're just finding the range of movement for the eyes where it feels like you're not straining, but there's just a little bit of that yogic edge of sensation to work with. And you might notice an urge to yawn or sigh or take a deeper breath. You're just the observer. And then we'll let the eyes come back to center. I'm going to invite you just to rest your hands for a second and receive the recalibrating response to that practice. Now, sometimes, just because I've taught this for many years and received a lot of feedback, sometimes it can evoke a little bit of dizziness, a little bit of kind of discomfort or kind of neurological response. And you didn't do anything wrong. You just kind of let that move through, and it's just an indication that something's happening. Okay. So if you feel ready and up for side two, and again, you can opt in or out of anything here. Hands behind the head, a little bit of length of the cervical spine. And then this time the eyes come toward the left elbow. And you're just breathing and supporting yourself, and if possible, just loving yourself here, right? Kind of weaving in those practices of self-acceptance and self-love. And then slowly back to center, a little recalibration once again. And just noticing, eye yoga has been around for many, many centuries. It's not a new practice. And it's a powerful one that we don't want to underestimate the power of. So you can go gentle with it. And you can play a little bit more with that on your own if you'd like. You can add in diagonal movements and circular movements of the eyes and up and down and all of that. And maybe we'll do some more of that in another class. For now, an invitation is to kind of ground some of that kind of upper movement into the body. So just allowing yourself to find some free form movement, upper body around the legs. You can find some circular movements here in one direction and the other. But really, it's a chance just to see, how does your body want to move? Maybe it's some seated cat-cow. Maybe free the arms. Explore expanding the shoulder blades away from each other. Give them a little squeeze toward each other. And then a personal favorite of mine is just to wiggle a little bit side to side. It's like you're walking sit bone to sit bone, and you're kind of taking that walk and letting your spine kind of undulate a little bit side to side here. Your shoulders can get into this. Your head might even get into it. You can let your voice go, let your jaw go. Lovely. And we'll take the side bodies in just a little bit more actively, leaning into one hand if you like. And you can keep the other hand on your hip, or maybe reach it up overhead. You can gaze down, forward, or up. And you might even find a little bit of intuitive movement right here, so that your spine gets to have its voice. And then let's take that up and over to the other side, your way in. Letting your arms be like the wings of the heart here, opening and expressing. Beautiful. And up to center. So next one here, we'll greet the sides of the neck, taking right ear towards right shoulder. You might walk the left fingertips away. You might support the head with the right hand, under, over. We're not yanking on the head in any way. It's really just a way of greeting and saying hello. And sometimes I use my hand just to help support my head as I gaze up and down slightly. Breathing as if you had a little balloon or lung in that left side of your neck you could fill with air. Good. And then slowly back to center. Again, you might take a moment to recalibrate, arrive with the increased blood flow into the neck and cervical vertebrae, of course, the vagus nerve going through there. We're going to take left ear to left shoulder when you're ready, walking the right fingertips out, maybe left hand for support in some form. And then once again, a little bit of movement just guided by your sensation. It's an inside out breath, right? Inside out awareness. You might notice that one side's a little tighter than the other. Just getting to know your body, knowing your tight side. And when you're ready, back to center again. Maybe rotate the shoulders a few times back and forward. Good. And then opening the arms up and exhale, we're going to just turn towards the right. It's the most gentle twist. This is early in the practice. We're going to inhale center and exhale as we turn to the left. Inhale, we lift. Exhale like wings, the arms fly. Inhale. Then exhale. So you can allow your head, your gaze to follow. Just integrating side to side. You might even let your gaze follow to the center and up and down, behind. Good. And then when you're even on both sides, we'll come back to center. Okay. Next pranayama is a Kapalabhati. And some of you, if you were here last week, we did this last week. If you've been taking with me for a while, you're familiar. If it's new, you might want to grab a tissue or a handkerchief. This can be a clearing breath, cleansing, getting out the mucus, okay? And if it's destabilizing or leaves you feeling dizzy or it's too much, then long, deep breathing, okay? What is good about this breath, even though it's energizing, and it's maybe one of the greatest qualities of this breath is that it's energizing, but that it really starts to stimulate the belly as we draw the navel back. We're creating a massage right here in the gut. So we inhale and the belly softens. The exhale, we draw the navel back. And then the inhale comes in naturally. So it's really an exhale-based breath. And the breath is going to look and sound like that. So you might notice my belly moving. So feel it out for yourself. If it's hard to get the belly to coordinate, it'll come in time. And we'll do just a short round together. Inhaling. Exhale, send all of your breath out. Inhale, let the breath just simply pour in. Exhale, send the breath out mindfully from the belly, out with the diaphragm. Last bit of air out. Inhale to belly. Inhale, rib cage. Inhale into your chest. Pause there for a moment if that's right. Feeling the fullness. And exhale, let it go. Well done. All right. We are going to integrate that for just a moment, just taking your hands to opposite shoulders, down the legs, a few times through, just really feeling your skin, feeling from your hips down to your feet, shoulders to hands. So a few rounds, you might even sweep the front body, the back body. And I'm going to turn to the side for this next one. And again, some of you who've taken with me are going to be familiar with this next little exploration. So we're going to go side to side in deer pose, in a deer shape. So with both feet in front, and my feet are about hip widths apart, we're just going to let the knees drop to one side, and the upper body will naturally begin to turn in the same direction of the knees, and then the other side. And we're just going to go side to side. And you can find your own pace with this. Again, these are some gentle twists, and I really encourage you at the beginning of a practice to keep twists on the gentle side. We're still warming up. And you can then begin to explore the kind of height of your upper body in this. So you might fold over the legs, really kind of giving yourself almost like a little pigeon shape here in our deer. You can fold down just a tad, or you might reach and lift, lifting that upper arm, feeling the opening in the side body. Just letting this feel good and be yours. One of my favorite variations on this is then to explore the same movement without hands at all. And just notice what comes awake and alive inside of your core to support you to balance in this little dance, side to side. Good. And then we'll come back to center. From center, I'll invite you to kind of lean just a little bit back into your sits bones and lengthen your heart, right? So you can keep the soles of your feet on the ground, and you can keep your hands behind you, or you might explore taking your feet off of the earth and bringing your hands out in front, finding a little bit of balance here in Navasana and boat pose. Exploring what do you have to wake up or kind of turn on inside of your core to help you balance in this shape. And then I'm going to share a variation. So this will start with the hands beneath the knees, and we're going to open side to side. So I'm opening to the left. I'm going to lengthen left arm and leg, come back center, opening slight twist to the right, and back center. A little side to side integration. And once again, you can let your eyes follow your fingertips and back to center. Good. Now you can continue that, or maybe bring your hands to heart center, and we'll shift into a little bit of a side to side, in and out of Ardha Navasana, half boat, back up to boat. Now, obviously, this no-handed version and our little twists here is a little more challenging. So you get to choose your challenge and let it be fun. Good. One more each side. And we'll come back to center, lowering the feet. Maybe wiggle it out for a second, wiggle out your legs. And we're going to come all the way down onto the back. Arriving here, today, an invitation to take your hands up overhead. And we're going to use the hands here gripping onto your mat, the sides of your mat. So you can hopefully grip in a way that lets your arms be long, and then really scoop your shoulder blades to kind of come onto the back so that the shoulders aren't lifted. The arms are long, but the shoulder blades are dropping down onto the back. From here, taking your feet off the floor if that's right, and just exploring engaging your core in this shape, maybe extending your feet towards the ceiling. from this really engaged upper body, engaged lower core, maybe lowering the right leg to hover above the mat. You can always bend the leg and place the foot down and just start to feel your way in to this shape. If we were totally flipped around, like the ceiling was the floor, you might be in like a warrior 3 balancing shape. And then switching it out, lifting the right foot, sending the left leg long, and exploring what engagement do you need in your body to support you here. Strong through the upper body, arms are pulling apart, pushing down, shoulders down on the back, engaging through the low belly, pressing through both feet. Maybe you feel a little shake here and lifting the left leg to meet the right. Releasing the hands, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. And then hands behind the head. This time, once again, an option to lower the right leg and twist upper body towards the left. So explore those muscles that you got engaged. Maybe you feel a little shake. You might hear it in my voice. I'm feeling a little shake. Explore what you need to support you in this shape. And then coming back through center. Let's find side 2. Turning towards the right, lowering the left leg, hovering it above the mat. Beautiful. One more breath here. And then back to center. This time, a little side to side, and you can bend the knees in this supine cross crawl, or you might work with straight legs, totally up to you. Maybe inhale center, exhale as you come to each side, feeling your core waking up. And once again, we're crossing midline of the body. Beautiful. Back to center. This time lowering your head, hands to your knees, and maybe just a few circles, legs around the sacrum in one direction and the other. And then hands behind your knees and a few rocks on your spine. We're going to rock all the way up and over your shins, and eventually walking your feet all the way back, lowering your forearms, and an invitation to come into a belly down, little core awakening movement here. So we're in a forearm plank, and I've got my hands clasped. That's up to you if you want your hands more like railroad tracks, or if you want your forearms angled in. And then in this shape, just once again, exploring what supports you here. So I often tell people, if you're new to my class, this is not necessarily restorative yoga, right? It's not all parasympathetic. We will mobilize, we will get your nervous system stretched in both directions, and that's good. So in this shape, maybe do a little hip dip, right and left. So you're feeling into those intrinsic muscles in the low core, transverse abdominis, really feeling the stabilizing muscles around the pelvis that we engage in this movement. Good, one more each side. And then lowering your knees, and for a moment, pressing back into child's pose. Slowly, when you're ready, meeting in a tabletop. And maybe from here, it's the moment of walking the fingertips forward and really feeling the long line of your front body that we just were bringing some awareness and heat to, sending your breath into your belly, your heart, your shoulders. And then sliding your hands up, finding a tabletop, and then just finding some free form movement. How do you want to integrate our breath practices, our cross-lateral practices, eye movements, core awakening? How does your body communicate through sensations and guide you now? New shape in relationship to gravity. Good. Now, you can continue with your free flow, or perhaps join me. We're going to find a little side to side action. So again, some of you have done this with me before, might be familiar. If it's new, we're going to take head and tail in the same direction, a little C curve of the spine, and maybe you add on. So as I'm gazing left, my right foot lifts and I look at my right toe. As I'm gazing right, my left foot lifts. And you can go side to side like that. Kind of imagine here that your shin and foot are like your tail, and you just begin to wag your tail here. Beautiful. And then back to center. Lovely. All right. From here, we're going to feel that core once again, and we're going to press into the hands. We're going to press into the tops of the feet and maybe lift the knees. Now, we're not here too long. We're going to lower it down. Inhale, exhale. As we come into a cat, rounding the spine, lift the knees. One more time like that. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Back to center. Okay. And we're going to find our cross crawl here. So lengthening through the right leg, maybe lifting the left arm, finding your balance. And we're going to greet knee and hand, or knee and elbow, underneath the body. Lengthen and exhale, contract. Inhale, expand. Drawing it. One last time like that. This time as we inhale, we lengthen, maybe bend right knee, maybe send left arm back. Maybe you clasp. No right, no wrong, no better, no worse. Finding your shape. And exhale, letting that side go. Wiggle it out. And we'll find side two. Lifting left leg. Maybe lengthening right arm, finding your balance. Inhaling here. Exhale under the body, knee and elbow. Inhale, reach. Finding your rhythm. All right, inhale here. Exhale, bending the left leg and reaching the right arm back. Maybe staying like that. Maybe you make contact and you find a half bow. And then slowly releasing, letting it go, and wiggle it out. Those wiggle out moments are just as important, aren't they? Good. We're going to take the right knee just a little bit forward, and we're going to cross the right foot towards the left and slide the left knee behind the right, so that if I face you here, I have a little space to begin to sit back between my heels. Now, that might be sitting back onto a block, right? So you can bring the floor a little higher, or you might sit down between your heels. So listening to your body and range of motion. And if this isn't right on your knees, skip this one, right? You can do this just sitting in a cross-legged. Whichever version you're taking, maybe taking some contact to your feet, hands to feet, making that connection, finding some length of your spine. Maybe giving yourself a little hug here. So you're just giving your hands to opposite shoulders, a little stack in your elbows that might be mirroring the stacking of your knees. Good. And then to switch sides, an option just to simply lean back on your hands and a fancy little Moulin Rouge moment. Switch your legs. Okay. There's other fancy turnaround motions, or you can go back through tabletop. So opposite leg on top, maybe a moment to get your block situated. Finding, again, maybe opposite shin in front. So it's listening to how your body wants to greet these shapes. The hips, knees. Maybe we bring a little bit of that self-hug. You can switch which arm's on top if you remember, it doesn't really matter. So there's these little opportunities even inside the shape to greet yourself here, to meet yourself just as you are, offering your presence to what is. And then we'll find some movement again. Release, let go of the legs. We're going to come back through a tabletop. And this time, a opportunity to press up onto the knees. Now, this is where we get a little fun with balance. We're going to shift the weight into the right shin and explore what happens if you lift the left shin off the ground. You might even lift your left foot forward, and you're balancing in what another lovely yoga teacher, she's London-based, her name is Amy Slevin, she calls this praying mantis. Okay, so just play. Maybe you're imagining you're on a little tight wire, just playing in a little bit of balance on one shin as the other leg lifts. And if you fall out, hey, ground's not that far away. We're gonna switch it out, placing left shin down, weighting into left shin as you lift the right shin off the earth. Maybe you bring it forward, a little praying mantis or high wire. Exploring how gaze and breath and the response to those out of balance movements with your arms and your core, how all of that lets you play in this unknown space. Eventually, coming back to the earth. We're going to place both hands and go into a bit more of a familiar shape here as we curl the toes under. Inhale, lift head, tail, and exhale, downward facing dog. And you can lift up onto your tippy toes, maybe bend both knees deep. You might even roll hips and feet side to side, reading your side bodies, letting your body give you feedback about what's awake, maybe what's still asleep. And then eventually taking your feet for a walk to the front of the mat, but maybe come back into your down dog. Before you go there, see what happens if you walk to the front of the mat without using your eyes. Let your head hang, let your gaze continue towards the back of the mat as your feet walk forward. You don't necessarily need to see where your feet are going until you've arrived. And then maybe bend your knees. You can take your pinkies to opposite elbow creases. You might sway a little side to side or keep the hands on the earth. You made it there, even if you didn't know or see exactly where you were going. You got there. And from our forward fold, we're going to bend into the knees. And I'll invite you today to roll up to standing, letting your shoulders be heavy, your head be heavy, head coming up last. Arriving, little rotation of the shoulders here, forward and back. And okay, we've got a little playful standing flow here. Drink something here. So feet just a little wider than hip width, maybe angled out just a little bit, okay? And I'll invite you to cross at your elbows again, and then take your hands to opposite ears, okay? So right hand holding my left earlobe and vice versa. And then from here, coming down into a little squat and inhale to lift. You get to choose the depth of the squat and kind of a funny little brain exercise. So for any of you who are curious about what the heck we're doing right now, you might Google super brain yoga. There's a ton of research on this funny little exercise in the way that it gets integrated into schools all across India. So super brain yoga. Cross-lateral movements here. And it's kind of silly and fun. Just two more. Coming up to center, letting your arms go, letting your legs go. So next little kind of playful part of this is we're going to add just a little tapping. So starting tapping above the eyes, above the forehead, or above the eyebrows, I should say. And then you can tap to the sides. Now I'm just squatting, so I'm closer. You can do this standing, however you want. Below the eyes. We're going to tap right below the collarbones. We're going to tap the sternum. Use one or both hands. We're going to tap under the ribs. And then a moment of stillness, one palm over the belly, fingertips at the center of the forehead. Just breathing yourself into center, into midline. And then releasing the hands a little bit more side to side here. So I'll share two variations of this. First one, we'll have our feet on the ground, but you see I've got a block here, and I'll show you how we might use that in a moment. So we're going to twist toward the right, let the right hand kind of lead that process, and then we're going to twist to the left. And a little side to side here, just to get used to that shape. And then we're going to stick to the right for a moment. So let your right fingers lead you, let your gaze follow your right hand. You might gaze forward to the computer or your screen for a moment. We're going to lift the left toes off the mat. Now, again, I'm not looking at my left foot. I'm looking at my right fingertips. So it's going to challenge balance. That's okay. And then we're going to actually follow the finger as we come through, let me get that block out of the way, come across midline, and I'm going to cross right hand to outside of left leg. My left foot's coming across midline. So balance, reach, stretch, and cross midline. Now, next step of this is maybe to exhale as you reach. And inhale as you integrate across midline. Exhale as you reach. Inhale, crossing midline. Okay. Final step of this, only if you want it, it's a little extra challenge, Let's just step on a block. Exhale, grounds a little further away, just gives a little bit more room for those left toes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And one more. Okay. With or without the block, how'd that feel? What are you noticing? Just take stock for a second. Obviously, we've got side two. Good. Shake it out if you like. Beautiful. All right, side two we go. So we're going to start, I'm going to start no block. I'm going to start just my left fingertips and my gaze. Start exploring, sending weight into the left foot and right foot lifts. There's a lot going on right there. All right, just feeling that balance. And then coming to midline, feeling yourself cross midline, and then we expand. Maybe integrating the breath, inhaling as we come across center. Exhale into the reach. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Maybe on the block a few times just for fun. And guess what? If it's not so graceful and you fall out, so be it. It's an experience, right? I've been practicing this all week, getting ready for today. I've been doing it every day. I was not stabilizing on the block, I think, until today. So I'm seeing, okay, maybe there is something like progress, but it doesn't really matter. It's all good. Coming back off the block if you're on it, letting something go, shake it out. And let's go back to, again, something that might feel a little bit more familiar, drawing arms up. You can maybe do a little half moon here with your hands crossed and just finding the side body. Inhale through center, we'll cross hands the other way, finding the side body the other way. One more time each side. And then let's flow this through. Inhale, drawing arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, finding a halfway lift. And exhale, planting the hands, stepping back, high, maybe knees down. We're going to come all the way down to the earth. And a few rolling cobras. Just allowing yourself to greet your whole body. Like a little wave from the tailbone to the crown of the head. You get to choose how much height of the shoulders, how much weight into your hands. Two more. And when you're ready, moving through tabletop, pressing back, downward facing dog. Second time in this shape, noticing what's evolving and what's allowing you to just notice more of your own being. I'm going to invite a guided wave here. So you might step your feet a little closer together and bend at your knees. So you're sending your hips back toward your heels. And then we're going to find a little wave motion from tailbone to crown of head, but let the head come last. And then on an exhale, you can wave it back to the feet. So that as you move back and forth between that little kind of half child's pose, right? That down dog squat. You allow the back of the heart to move towards the front of the mat first, and then the crown of the head. Sending your hips back. One more time, waving it forward. And downward dog. From downward dog, taking a gaze towards your hands. Actually scratch that. Take a gaze towards your feet. And without your gaze, sending your feet towards your hands, whether that's walking forward or maybe a little hop forward. Not gazing forward in that transition, trusting you'll get there. And then finding your way to standing, maybe long spine this time as you lift all the way up. Exhale, maybe crossing hands, side body. Inhale, cross them the other way, side body. Inhale, maybe a cactus the arms, lift the heart. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, planting hands, stepping back. Once again, all the way to the earth, maybe lowering down one long line. And this time, an option to bring your hands further back. So not under the shoulders, but next to the rib cage as you lift through the heart. Maybe from here, planting through the tops of your feet, and that will lift the thighs off the earth here on the tops of the feet. And this is your upward dog, pressing back, downward facing dog. Now, you might skip all of those vinyasas. You might be in child's pose. You might say that was enough practice for me today. Always honoring your body's signals for how much, right? Listening. And we've got like 65, 70 minutes of movement in this 90-minute class. That's a lot of movement. So honoring your pace. We're going to find those wave-like motions again, feet coming together, bending the knees, and back of the heart coming forward like a wave to the shore, and then rebending, coming back through, coursing to the front, pressing back. One more like that. This time to downward facing dog. And once again, an invitation to make your way to the front of the mat, not sending your gaze first. Arriving here, maybe a slight bend in the knees, a long spine, and coming all the way up to standing. Well done. Well done. All right. Just arriving, maybe a moment, palm to palm in front of your heart or over your heart, just letting yourself sense and feel after flowing movement, what's still moving inside. And when you feel ready, we'll move on together. So feet about hip widths apart. I'm going to show this facing you just for visual sake. You can certainly face the front of your mat. And coming into an Utkatasana. Inhale, drawing the arms up. Exhale, we're going to sweep the arms back. And then on an inhale, we're going to take left leg with us. So shifting weight into the right leg. I always think this is a little bit like Karate Kid here, right? Arms sweep back, inhale, right leg's gonna come with us. So you get a feeling for the movement and the visual here. Sweeping arms back, left leg lifts, hiya, right? And sweeping down, right leg lifts. And sweeping down. Inhale left. And to the earth. Inhale right. And down. Now this time, Inhale left, pause for a moment. And let me face you for a second on this one. We're going to turn the upper body towards the left. I'm going to keep that left leg bent for today, allowing yourself to feel that engagement in the core as we stabilize in the pelvis, just turning through the mid-spine. Inhale, lift. And exhale, sending left leg back behind you. So we're in that variation of our warrior 3, and perhaps taking the arms forward. Now, imagine you had that mat overhead. You're going to draw the shoulder blades down. You're going to be long and strong through the arms. You're going to really engage through the belly, lifting that left leg. We did this on our backs. Now we've flipped it around. All right, slowly back up through standing. Let's plant the left leg, shake that one out, recalibrate. And we'll find side 2, bending the knees. Inhale, exhale. This time right leg comes and joins. We're gonna stay there. We're gonna turn toward the right. We've got a pause here. We're coming back through center. And we're going to tilt it forward as we send the arms and leg back. Maybe you stay right here. This is a beautiful place to stay. Maybe you draw the arms forward. This is a powerful pose. It's got a lot to it. Again, grab that mat overhead like you're on your back. Really stabilize through the shoulders, blades on the back, grabbing into that real strong sense of self, and then stabilizing in the low core, lifting the right leg, and slowly all the way up and planting the foot. Shaking it out. Woo. Good. Inhale, sweeping your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, planting your hands your way to down dog. You can skip a vinyasa. You might go halfway down and find your up dog from there. Pressing back. We meet in downward facing dog. So from our downward facing dog, and you might come to your knees and gaze forward at what I'm going to demo for a second. We're going to go into that bent knee shape. We're going to step the right foot forward, but I'm not gazing forward, right? So explore this with me. Bent knee down dog. Just like we did before, it's like sending the back of the heart forward. This time we're just going to take the right leg with us. And we're stepping the right leg, right foot, to the outside of the right hand. And as you can see, I'm repeating it. So come on in and out with me a few times. Foot and down dog, bend the knees, stepping to the outside and back. And then we're going to step the foot to the outside, let the gaze come last, and back. So that we have that kind of wave-like motion here, and then let the head reach. Last time. Stepping, find the wave, let the heart reach. This time, maybe extend through the right arm. And then back down. We're just going to stay in this lunge. Just let the arm find the flow for a moment. Open into a little twist and back down. Let this be guided by your sensations. Find what feels right and open for you. And back around. Planting the right hand. We're going to step right back to meet the left. Let's find it on side 2. All right. So once again, we've got a pretty big action here as we're going to round the spine to step left foot to the outside of the left hand and back. Feeling this in your body. Let the head come last. We'll do this about 3-4 more times. So just really get into it, you know? Like, you don't have to get it right the first time or the second time. Just let yourself find the flow of it. Okay, one more time, step, find the wave through the spine, maybe let the arm come into the action and then just let the arm sweep back down. Feeling that wave from tailbone, crown of head, fingertips, and back in. And lift. And back around. Planting left hand, stepping left foot back, and for a moment, lowering knees, either hips to heels or hips lifted in puppy dog or child's pose, some version of a resting shape. Catching your breath, arriving. And slowly, when you're ready, making your way to a tabletop, eventually to a downward facing dog. And from here, I'll offer up one more variation on that theme that we just did. We'll have another little balance play, and then we'll be back down on the mat. So the variation from what we just did, you might want to watch it for a second before coming in. Some of you might say, I am now fully in child's pose and I'm not leaving it. And that's totally valid. Okay. I'm going to show from the front and then I'll show from the side. So if I'm in that down dog, I'm going to round the spine forward, take the right foot with me, and I'm going to walk that right foot even further out to the right. Let me step back a little bit so you can see more. So I've got nice wide base. I'm going to plant that left hand. So now I've got this kind of, I don't know, kind of wide base front body. Wide enough that as I lift the right hand and I lower it, I might even take that left knee off the ground. So you might take hand to knee under your body. Now we did that from a tabletop. It's just a pretty different shape. So let me show it from the side and we'll do it together, okay? So from downward dog, I'm going to inhale here. And exhale, rounding forward. Take the right foot with me, nice and wide. You can toe heel that right foot out further. You might get some things out of your way. And then from here, lifting the right arm, pressing into left hand, right foot. It might feel impossible. See what happens if you lift your left knee forward. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Well done. Coming back through, downward facing dog, we'll find side two. Inhale here, exhale, rounding forward, stepping left foot forward, then head comes. Then maybe lifting left arm, maybe widening that stance, nice wide base. And then, oh my gosh, is it even possible to lift that right foot off the earth? I don't know, let's try it. Taking hand to knee, inhale, expand. Exhale, inhale, exhale it in, inhale. And okay, let's call it good. Planting left hand, left foot comes back to meet the right. And we're going to lower the knees down. As promised, one more little balance play. So we'll lift up. Now, remember our praying mantis from not too long ago. We're going to invite that once again. So from here, let's go ahead and lean into left shin first. Left shin's our base. We're gonna take the right knee up, right foot off the ground. We're on that high wire, pretty wild. And we're gonna stamp that right foot down. And from here, back of the top of the left foot is gonna stay on the ground as we lift the left knee. Now, we're not here too long, so just a little visit as we transition from there back to our standing warrior 3. Now, you might shift if you're close to a wall like me. You might shift and take those arms forward again, totally up to you. And from here, just a little exploration. We're not going into any full expression of anything here. It's just a play of what happens if you twist slightly toward your right. The left hand is down, right fingertips up. Okay. And then we're coming back through to center. And we're going to go ahead and bend through the right knee. Take the left knee up with us. Whoa. Okay. And then let's plant it down. Shake it out. Shake it out. So we've got to flow back to the earth for side 2. Inhale, sweeping the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale your way to downward facing dog. Your dance. Just for fun, why not? Just for fun. Let's round the spine forward, take the right foot with you. Inhale, sweep the right arm, maybe right hand to knee. Inhale, back, down, right foot steps back. We're gonna round it forward. Left foot comes. Inhale, turn the left arm. Exhale, maybe the right knee, left hand touch. Inhale, open. There's our little flow. Step the left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, down onto the knees. Inhale, lifting the upper body. Right shin. Our balance as we left shin off the mat and play here in a funky little moment before we step the left foot down. And this time you can place the hands on the left thigh as you lift the right knee. I've still got my right toes long. I'm on the top of my foot, enough to lean forward, taking it into an airplane. Totally up to you whether or not you lengthen the arms forward or not. And then from here, maybe a twist toward the left. Right? So we're just hovering. We're just exploring what's possible here. No goal, just play. And then slowly facing forward, lifting the right leg with you. And exhale. Either wiggle it out or a moment of stillness. Moment to arrive. Slowly and in your own way, finding your way to the earth. If you want to flow with me, inhale, sweeping the arms. Exhale, folding. Inhale, finding a halfway lift. And exhale, planting your hands your way to downward facing dog. And then lowering both knees once again. This time, I'll invite you just to shift your hips to the side. And we'll find some seated floor flow here, taking the right leg out towards the right and the left foot to the inside of your right leg. Now, for a moment, to begin here, you might turn the upper body toward the extended right leg and just walking yourself into a forward fold. And that really gets to be up to you, the depth of the fold and how much rounding in your spine versus long spine. Just breathing into the back of your right leg. And even here, there's a twist. Even here. So as we slow down, sometimes what speeds up is the mental chatter. So a beautiful opportunity to be the observer of your own mind and the cultivator, right? So you get to cultivate the thoughts in this mindful pause. We'll inhale here, and an option to lean in toward the right leg, taking the side body now, and you can place that right arm on top of the leg or to the inside or taking hold of the foot, right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just finding a little bit of that twist toward the left. Left hand can stay on your left hip, or maybe you extend the arm long. Gaze can be down, sideways, maybe lifted. And then slowly lifting up from here. We're going to plant the left hand, lifting the hips, lifting the right arm, just opening it up. Open the heart. Maybe the right arm reaches back slightly. And then slowly descending your hips. And we'll switch this out, side two. It got a little dark in here. Just making your way into Jana Shirsasana. The left leg is long. Totally forgot to use my lights today. Oh, well, we'll get that all sorted out someday. I'll remember, and maybe it'll be perfect. Not going to happen. All right, we're going to turn toward the left leg and just allowing yourself to explore long spine or rounded. So even in this shape, we've got this, especially with that long spine, this ability to turn slightly towards the left, really scoop the low belly in. Taking another breath here. And then lifting back up. And this time we're going to take the side body down over the left leg and finding your variation. It can be up higher, lower. You can place a block underneath your left forearm. Maybe the right arm comes up and over. Beautiful. Grounding into the right sits bone, the right hip, reaching with the right fingertips. And just as we slow down and have that opportunity to really fine-tune our mind, we can fine-tune our breath. Fine-tune your breath right here. Just explore that 4-count inhale. And a 4-count exhale. One more luxurious breath here. And then slowly lifting, planting the right hand, maybe lifting through your hips, extending the left arm up overhead. And then slowly descending your hips, This time, drawing your knees in. You might even round the spine. And then slowly descending all the way onto your back. So I'll offer up a supine twist here, taking your feet once again towards the edges of the mat. You can take your arms wide and dropping both knees toward the right. In this shape, you might reach the right ankle on top of the left knee. It's like a supine deer with a little bit of weight on that left knee and just feeling the opening across the left hip, the front of the left leg. You might gaze to the left. And then slowly sliding the right foot off if it was on top and unwinding the legs, lifting through center. You might even shift your hips to the right slightly as you drop the knees to the left and either staying just like that or maybe lifting left ankle on top of the right knee. You can have your arms above your head or to the side, maybe reaching the right knee long. And then slowly releasing the foot, releasing knees to center, setting your hips up right at center. And maybe a moment of drawing both knees in. You can squeeze everything tight, maybe tucking your nose towards your knees. And then letting everything go, letting your legs descend long. You can widen your feet, let them flop out to the sides. Arms can be away from your side bodies, letting the palms rotate upward, letting your eyes soften, your jaw soften, your tongue soften, the soft palate at the roof of your mouth release. Letting go of any holding in your throat, your chest, your belly, upper and lower back. Releasing your hips, your legs, your feet. Any gripping in the mind, perhaps exploring what happens as you breathe in, breathe out, let go. Taking your time here to receive this practice with this nourishing Shavasana. Doing a little rewiring today, right? So allowing yourself to let that settle in to your nervous system. Again, I'll offer up the words of our wise John Wellwood. Sit down, or in this case, lay down wherever you are and listen to the wind singing in your veins. Feel the love, the longing, the fear in your bones. Open your heart to who you are right now. Not who you would like to be, not the saint you are striving to become, but the being right here before you, inside you, around you. All of you is holy. You are already more and less than whatever you can know. Breathe out. Touch in. Let go. And when you feel complete, when you feel ready, wiggling your fingers, your toes, finding any morning or evening stretch, right, that allows you to make a nice slow transition out of your Shavasana, knowing, of course, you can stay there as long as you would like. When you're ready, returning to seated. And taking a moment, once you arrive there, maybe palm over your heart, just centering. All right, so that all of these practices, especially today when we have so much between left and right sides of the body, what we're waking up is the Sushumna. It's the central channel, a core access to self energy, your own internal intrinsic source of wisdom, wise guidance, inner knowing, your intuition. So exploring how you want to take this into your day, your week, how this might serve you. And so often our own practice helps us serve the people in our lives, our world, in a most meaningful way. Once again, thank you for allowing me to be your guide for practice. It's a deep honor. Namaste.